Supreme Court case challenges federal agency authority. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear Chamber of Commerce of the United States of America v. United States, a case that could further redefine the boundaries of federal agency authority and reshape how regulations affecting business, labor, and environmental compliance are crafted and enforced. While the dispute does not center on energy or environmental policy directly, its outcome could influence how future climate, labor, and ESG-related rules are challenged and upheld. At issue is whether federal agencies exceeded their statutory authority in issuing regulations that the Chamber argues impose obligations not clearly authorized by Congress. The case arrives amid broader judicial skepticism toward expansive administrative interpretation, continuing a trend that has already altered the regulatory landscape. The legal question at the center of the case. The Chamber's challenge focuses on whether agencies may rely on broad or implied statutory language to justify far-reaching rules, or whether Congress must speak with greater specificity when delegating regulatory power. The case builds on recent precedent signaling that courts may no longer defer as readily to agency interpretations of ambiguous statutes. This framework places renewed emphasis on the major questions doctrine, under which courts require clear congressional authorization before allowing agencies to regulate issues of vast economic or political significance. Why business groups are watching closely. For business and industry groups, the case represents an opportunity to rein in regulatory expansion that has increasingly occurred through rulemaking rather than legislation. The Chamber argues that uncertainty around agency authority complicates compliance planning, increases litigation risk, and exposes companies to shifting obligations that can change across administrations. A ruling favoring the Chamber could embolden additional challenges to federal rules across labor, environmental, financial, and disclosure regimes, particularly where agencies rely on long-standing but broadly interpreted statutory mandates. Regulatory implications. Although the case is not an environmental dispute on its face, the implications for sustainability-related regulation are significant. Many climate, emissions, and disclosure rules depend on agency interpretations of statutes enacted decades ago, often before modern ESG frameworks existed. If the court tightens limits on agency discretion, regulators may face higher hurdles when advancing new environmental or climate-related requirements without explicit congressional direction. That could slow the pace of regulatory change or shift responsibility back to lawmakers, introducing new uncertainty for companies attempting to plan long-term sustainability strategies. What this means for compliance and risk teams. For corporate legal, compliance, and sustainability teams, the case underscores the importance of monitoring not just individual regulations, but the legal foundations underpinning them. A decision narrowing agency authority could increase regulatory volatility as existing rules are challenged, delay or invalidate forthcoming ESG or climate disclosures, create uneven compliance environments across jurisdictions. At the same time, a ruling upholding agency authority would reaffirm the current regulatory model, reinforcing the role of federal agencies as primary drivers of policy implementation. A broader signal from the court. Taken together with recent administrative law decisions, Chamber of Commerce v. United States reflects a judiciary increasingly willing to police the separation of powers between Congress and the executive branch. Regardless of outcome, the case adds another layer of legal context that businesses must factor into regulatory forecasting. For now, the case serves as a reminder that regulatory risk is no longer confined to rulemaking dockets alone. It is increasingly shaped by the courts that determine how far agencies may go. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.